I know that you guys have asked me a lot of questions about the book I've been speaking of last week, um, about our very own, I would say, ambassadors. But before we get deep into that, we're going to run our birthdays. Happy birthday to you. Let's go. And may all your dreams come true. Happy, happy birthday. Oh, it's your birthday song. Oh, celebration all night long. Oh, may all your dreams come true. Yeah. You guys have the contact information for when you you have the information for when you can purchase it. Yes. Happy birthday. Wishing you all of God's blessings as you continue your journey around this earth. And we're going to jump right into it. Good morning, guys. Today, we have some special guests. And I'll let you lean in and introduce yourself. You have to use this mic right here.
Well, good morning. This is Hansen. I'd like to say good morning to your listening audience also.
Awesome.
Good morning. My name is Aloy Nielsen, and I'd also like to say hi to the listening audience. We're here primarily to promote a booklet that was done documenting the highlights of our Christian Set High School band back in 1965, actually from 61 to 65, the honor band of the Christian Set High School. First off, under the umbrella of the combined alumni classes of 1965 on St. Croix in 1965, that being the Christian Set High School, the Claudio Marco High School, and the St. Joseph High School. Sorry about that. This booklet, which is a documentary, as I said, of the highlights of the golden years rather of the Christian Set High School band. It documents the period of time basically from when our band leader, Mr. Angelo Marasco, arrived on the island, which was 1961, and took charge of the band that we had. We did have a couple of music teachers prior to Mr. Marasco. One in particular is Stephen Bostic. But shortly after that, Mr. Marasco came in. Having a band in the high school was always a goal of the then high school president, Mr. Arthur Richards. But monies were slim. We had very few instruments, and things were rather slow in starting. But as I said, when Mr. Marasco came to our school, he came from Connecticut. He was a short little Italian guy. I mean, unbelievable guy, unbelievable personality, unbelievable musician. He looked at our band and saw the potential that was there. And he decided to roll up his sleeves and work with us. And I mean, work with us. He rehearsed us to death. I think Ezel could attest to that. We used to be in that band room Then they every day till about from about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, right, till about like 6 in the evening, rehearsing and rehearsing. And this, as I said, booklet covers all of that from the inception of things, basically from when Mr. Marasco came aboard, all the way to 1964, when we had, I would say, the crowning adventure of our experience with Mr. Marasco. Um,
Well, let me interject there because we often hear that St. Thomas is the island with the musicians, and I had to correct someone recently and say that many of those bands in St. Thomas that are acclaimed have musicians from St. Croix. And so, while I do agree that when it comes to music, they've been well supported in the St. Thomas, the district of St. Thomas. St. Croix has its, its own group of very skilled musicians. Um, and I could attest to that because I have my own band as well. But in addition to that, just going through the history of music here in the Virgin Islands and being able to shape other islands and their culture. We talk about Trinidad and the tempo. People often look at Trinidad for calypso, but there are some things that they gathered from us here. The speed of their music and so forth was influenced by the Virgin Islands as well. And even people as big as Marshall Montano in the calypso and soca arena attribute a lot of his skills to the Virgin Islands. So it's great to be able to have a book that documented on the island of St. Croix some of the great things that we have been able to accomplish, because many times they look at us like the small, tiny island and we can't really do impactful things. And I went through the book and I saw that y'all even made it on the Ed Sullivan show.
yes.
And did a lot of great things. I saw that there was a ticket from Pan American.
Yes.
Okay.
And I remember that name was a little tot. We have long lost that airline now, but it brought back some good memories, and I have to applaud you all for the work you did. I know it couldn't be easy to go back and find all of these documents and get all the names right and all of that stuff. And so I spoke about it last week, and I encourage people to look at this like a piece of history. Oftentimes we just pass down stories. I've heard about the band since I was born because, it obviously left an impression on my dad and on you uh, to all this time after wanting to do this project. So tell me about the process, the idea, how it came about, how you worked your way through to making this book happen.
Well, Mr. Nilsson right now, he's getting somewhat being quite modest about the situation because this came out of a discussion we had with some band members during our class meeting, and I think it was Mr. Nilsson here, Mr. O'Reilly, and Dr. Copeman, and we were discussing about the involvement with the band and all of that good stuff, and then Miss Hendricks was sitting right across from us. She's on the education board.
Mm.
And then she said, that sounds good.
This is all classmates of yours.
Yeah.
They say all these brilliant minds came from the same class.
And that's the truth.
Eh,
Anyhow, she said, that sounds like a good idea. And why you guys don't deal with that? And then she suggested, well, Winty, you the one talking the most, so you don't go ahead and start with it. And then, of course, he accepted the lead. And from there, we started to move ahead. And we got all the other information. And well, the genesis was really when, from way back when I was in about 8th or 9th grade, there was a discussion on the campus, that's the CHS.
mhm.
Uh, uh, this the starting of a school band, and I remember seeing Mr. Peter Tolang on the campus at the time, and then he like disappeared.
I
And
don't
then, of
remember that.
Yes, I remember that. And then after that came Mr. Barstick. You know, he was a concert pianist. He played professionally throughout Europe, Germany, France, England, Spain, Portugal. And he came with us. And as Mr. Nielsen said, there was just a few instruments, really, mainly clarinets. And I think there was two alto saxes. But he was in the classical realm, and he would sit down in the piano. You know, the school had a grand Steinway piano at that time.
Yeah.
And he moved the band class from the where it was situated at was, you might say, in the basement up into the auditorium. And he would sit and play, but his concentration was mostly voice. And really, he had nothing to work with. There was a few clarinets, two saxophone, and then he got involved with the.
Isn't that always the story?
Yeah.
Oh,
He got involved with the Island Center group that had just came about. The Eckley family, Don Eckley and Shirley Eckley was.
Yes. Yes.
A matter of fact, she was our counselor. And eventually, Mr. Master got on the board to the Island Center, and then he left. And some months later came the short Italian fellow,
Yeah.
full of vigor.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, he seemed to be a slice off in the block of my late wife, Jockey Alicia Hansen, because he was intense in all of this stuff, and he intended to develop a band with the stuff that he had to work with, and so he did, really.
so how long did you think it took to kind of whip you guys into action? Going from meeting him to that intense training to where you were able to go out and represent as ambassadors?
I think I would suspect almost a year.
Yeah, I think a little longer than that.
Because
You know, we did a lot of the musicians were not good at reading music.
he did.
And as I said, you know, he did an assessment of all of us, our capabilities, and saw where he needed to focus his efforts on. And he did that. Reading was one thing, you know,
Yeah.
being better musicians in terms of playing your instrument, you know, much more professionally. He worked with us. He separated us in groups, you know, the reeds, you know, all the clarinets and the saxophones,
And the
the brass here,
and
and so
percussion.
forth. And he would rehearse with each one separately. Then once we trying to get a song right. Once each group got their part right, we then would come together and play as a band. And that was his approach, you know, all the way, and just trying to make us much better musicians, to the point where, people really started noticing us, you know. We really, I have no reservations in saying this. We really ended up being the best band in the Virgin Islands.
I would agree with that.
There's no question about it.
And one thing about it, every member of the band was reading, even down to the drummers.
Yeah.
Everybody was reading.
Yeah, you had to be able to read
Yeah,
music.
you had to be in the honor band.
It was We had honor band, and then we had the rest that were not of that caliber to become an honor band member, but everyone was working towards that. You know, and it really, yes, truly was an honor to be an honor band member. So we played for everything on this island.
And then, of course, the governor at the time, Ralph Iwanski, he fell in love with us.
Governor Paiwanski,
Every
from the time he heard us, it was like, oh, I want you to play for this, a groundbreaking ceremony, a ribbon cutting, a this, a that, and we were just
Well,
playing.
usually they do that when you sound good and the crowd to show you off. Yeah.
So
So
we play with some of the best, but the Remy Air Force band, we played with them in Puerto Rico.
yes, yes.
And the Inter-Americans college band, we played with
Inter-America
them.
University
Yes.
in San Germán, Puerto
San-
Rico.
Yeah.
We traveled there.
And you know, to play with a Puerto Rico band, it's you gotta be
No, but we were tip top.
tip top. That's right.
We was
I
tip-top.
remember going there with my own band, and these guys didn't play around. I mean, they are very serious about
Yeah.
their music, and
Yeah.
even when we would go and we would ask for a sound check. When they went on, it was one go, and that was it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
You know.
but he, like I said, just took us through the mill with
Yeah.
everything that needed to be done. Now what was really interesting, and it's definitely worth mentioning, as we said, Governor Payawanski at the time was very impressed with us to the point where when they were uh, swearing in the first president of College of the Virgin Islands, at the time it was not UVI but CVI,
Mhm.
he sent for us from St. Croix to go to St. Thomas
Yeah.
to play for that. Now, Charlotte Amali had a band at the time,
I am sure.
and they were very, very upset,
Mhm.
And then on top of that, for the first commencement
Graduating class,
exercise, the first
Yes.
graduation of CVI, he sent for us
Again.
again
Wow.
to play for that.
Mm.
And Lady Bird Johnson, President Johnson's wife, was the keynote speaker
Yeah.
Wow.
on at that graduation. So we really got a lot of recognition with that. Then, of course, he then decided, wow, you know what? I would truly like to take you guys to the World's Fair in New York
Oh,
City
yeah.
in 1964. I mean, we were just blown away
Yeah.
with the thought. But
And
he
World's Fair is
was
a big deal.
yes,
Oh, yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
He was committed, and we were right along with him, and he estimated that it was going to cost like $8,000
Mhm.
for the 40 members of the band
Mhm.
and chaperones and so forth. He estimated a cost of $8,000. That was a lot of money
In those days.
back in those days. I mean,
sure.
you know,
If we did the math now, you'd have to give a kidney to get it done.
yeah.
Oh,
So we started playing concerts to all the hotels on the island.
But he had developed what he called
Like
a
a
band
circuit.
booster club.
Well, we had
Okay.
that working
That-
with us too.
If your
Yeah,
grandmother was involved in that, Crystal,
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Paul James,
Paul James. Yeah, Mrs. Alice
um,
Peterson.
Alice Peterson.
My
Alice
mother-
Schuster, I think it was.
Hmm?
Alice.
Alice-
Bricky.
Alice Schuster, but Alice Peterson was a part of the Band Boosters Club too. Andre's
Yes,
mother.
that's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah,
And especially the Hewitts,
the Hewitts.
the
Yeah,
Hewitt family.
and they did food sales, cake sales,
Sales.
everything to raise money.
Mhm.
And we raised most of the money. The legislature, I think it was the sixth legislature at the time, only gave us $2,500. I mean,
Yeah, I
we-
saw that in your book. You made reference. You know. Anyway, you all go ahead. I'm on my best behavior until these gentlemen
Yeah.
retire out
But-
of the studio.
But yeah, we
But it definitely showed that it was a community effort.
Yes, it
Yeah.
You
was.
know, once
Everybody.
people understood the importance of your participation, they stepped up. You know,
the
Like
entire
you said,
community was behind us.
right?
You know,
Make it happen.
back then, the population of St. Croix was about 10 or 11,000.
Mm.
I mean, some people probably would find that hard to believe, but yeah,
Yeah,
that's what it was.
and,
And-
you're jumping more than that now.
Oh, yeah, man. And then we had the Brad
Right.
House. We are also known by the Brad House newspaper.
Oh yeah,
Hmm.
he
did a
Yeah,
tremendous
the St.
amount.
Croix
he
office.
supported us
Yeah.
considerably. I mean, and that was one of the prime sources of information in,
Yeah.
in putting this booklet together that Rodella and I used. We researched newspaper articles online, and I mean, extensive coverage by the editor. So we
Yeah.
had it all there.
Right.
We just had to dig
archives,
it out.
which is we that and I speak about the archives of the Avis often,
Yeah.
and how important it is to the
And
history
that's a
of Virgin
valuable
Islands.
Yeah.
source they got there.
Absolutely.
What I would imagine part of the reason for his big support is that he had a granddaughter that was in the band, Sherry Ann Bradhurst. But
Okay.
he gave us tremendous support.
Yeah.
And while
And monetary also.
monetary also, yeah. And while we were up there, we used to get on the phone by way of a ham radio operator, Gracie Bellado,
Gelato, yeah.
and speak to the public.
Okay.
Let them
Yeah,
know
what was
what we
happening.
have done, what we did the day before, what we're planning on doing. And so we were keeping them abreast of everything that we were doing on the mainland,
Yeah.
And I mean, let me tell you, I still get goosebumps thinking about this. When we returned
Oh yeah.
to St. Croix, there was over 600 people
Wow.
at the airport to greet us, and other bands, all sorts of banners.
Wow.
And then from
Okay.
there,
So you
we-
guys became celebrities.
we were
ambassadors,
We were
man.
ambassadors.
In a true
We
sense
we
of the word.
we advertised the Virgin Islands 10 times better than all the advertising agencies that the government was paying at the time.
We played in the
We played at Yankee
Macy's Parade.
Stadium for a game. I remember Warren Williams was telling me the other day that, and I didn't even remember this. Mickey Mantle gave our mascot,
Yeah.
Ronald Peterson,
Yeah.
a baseball, a
Really?
signed baseball,
Yeah.
and the other guys were trying to take it away from him. And Mickey Mantle said, "No, that's his."
Mhm.
You know.
Wow.
But
Yeah.
I mean, it's been over 60 years,
Mhm.
and
I mean,
you can't remember every
also
little
played the
detail,
Macy's.
but those things make a big
For the
difference.
Macy's Day
Absolutely.
Parade.
The Macy's Day Parade, the Memorial Day Parade.
Big memory of how
Memorial
we
Day
came down with a
Parade.
beat there.
We were the first set of Virgin Islanders to represent the Virgin Islands in that parade back in 1964. We were the first.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we had a calypso beat going down to the avenue there, boy. And
So St. Clair was
you
doing
better
big
say,
things.
who are they? Where are they from? Listen to that beat.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, how do you all feel about now and the absence of having a solid band like what you had back then?
Terrible.
Yeah, we feel terrible about it because in '65 most of the top musicians of the honor band graduated,
Mhm.
so it lost a lot of key players, and it seemed like none of that ever continued.
Yeah.
After that point.
After that point, so we were very disappointed to see that because we left a solid ground there for them to continue on,
Yeah.
and it's unfortunate that didn't happen, but our time in on the mainland at the time was so great. We visited the United Nations building.
Yeah.
We traveled, as well, you mentioned already that we were on the Ed Sullivan Show,
Mhm.
and you had people like Duke Ellington and Liza Minnelli,
Yeah.
Right.
and a whole bunch of big stars. They showed a film of the Beatles before they even came to
Become
the
Vegan.
to America.
America.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was just unbelievable that we got that type of exposure on a show like that. I don't know how many people in your listening audience even remember the Ed Sullivan Show, but let me tell you this: that was the most popular variety show nationwide,
Yeah.
And he
probably
was
even
instrumental
international.
in breaking out a lot of black artists
Yes,
on that show. There's a documentary right now on Netflix about that.
yes,
So
yes.
he was a key person
Brilliant.
to understand that they needed a platform.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the booklet, we have a list of all the guests that was on that show that night, and it right in that listing there, it lists the Christian State High School band. So it was
Yeah.
really
Okay.
nice to see us listed among all these
Right.
other big stars.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So
So the book, you guys have the book there.
We
You
have
could
the
show us
book.
the cover.
we have the book. It's entitled "Marching to Our Own Beat."
Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
it's very good reading. The
Yeah,
cost
quick
of it,
reading.
quick reading. The cost of it is $30. We're raising money for our alumni class to do various things. You know, we give back quite a bit to the schools and other organizations on St. Croix. So this is an effort the sale is an effort to raise money.
And what's the cost of the book?
The cost of the book is $30.
Okay.
And Elaine James, one of the members of our alumni class, she has a bulk of the books. And let me just mention her phone number in case anyone would like to call her and get a copy. Her number is area code 340-277-2848. Other members of the class are selling as well, including myself. And my number is 340-513-0097. So you could call us. So if you see someone that you know is a member of that alumni class, you can speak with them and get a copy from them. But we would really like to, share this story with the public to let them know what was happening back in those days and how significant it was. I don't think we mentioned after the reception we got at the airport, we had a torchlight parade motorcade to Government House in Christiansted, where Governor Paiwanski had this big reception planned for us. It was just unbelievable. A lot of dignitaries were there. Of course, our parents and all our supporters attended it, but it was an unbelievable experience. I mean, we really felt like superstars.
Wow.
One of the event that we was involved in while on the travel was the World's Fair event.
Yeah.
When we played at the what was the name of the Singer Bowl.
Yeah.
And we had a West Indian Cushion type match. Trump.
Yeah.
And we tramped throughout the whole area there. That was right next to
the Kodak Pavilion.
They were just building the Shea Stadium.
Okay.
The Mets in New York.
Mm-hmm.
That was right next door to the events site.
Okay.
And oh boy, it was marvelous. And right next to, I think, the original pavilion was the African Watusi. I thought I was tall because at the time I was about 6'3", 6'4". And these guys were like towering over me, man.
Mm-hmm.
And there was nice slender bodies, even the women.
Yeah.
The women was over 6 feet.
Tall.
Yeah.
So they were there present and they got into the groove.
Yeah, man, we had a tramp around the whole place there. Everybody left all the thing and started to follow us.
Yeah. I remember when we first started the concert.
As a matter of fact, we had 1 hour, and then it was extended to 2 hours.
Yeah. But when we first started, there was no one sitting there.
Nobody
a
at
whole
all.
bunch of empty chairs.
Mm-hmm.
And about halfway through the concert, the chairs were all filled and people standing
Man,
all around.
Yeah.
And I mean, we really captured their interest big time.
One of the things I hear all the time when I travel is that VI music is very infectious. You can't hear it and not want to move.
Right.
So we have that reputation throughout the world that we have this beat, this thing that makes your soul want to jump.
Yeah.
And they're like, I even, a friend of mine from Trinidad told me that we working with Jumbi because they come like, you can wait the dead with this kind of thing, and that's why even when I go to Trinidad, they love VI music. They cannot describe to me what it is, but they say when you hear it, you feel like your heart come bust out your chest, and you have to get involved in some way.
I mean, we had some good drummers. You know Elroy Simmons.
Yes.
He's a big artist on the island now. He was one of our drummers. Herman Hendricks, and
who else we had?
O'Reilly, Hugh O'Reilly.
Hugh O'Reilly, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, they
and
room
and
also.
and I mean, you know, the calypso rhythms and everything. When we
Mhm.
started tramping, I mean, they were just filling that in, everything else, you know,
Yeah.
that really got people
Going.
jumping up
Yeah.
and moving around, you know.
And the bass drum was Lockhart.
Lockhart,
Mhm.
Richard Lockhart, yeah,
Left
Mm.
us.
Okay.
yeah.
So y'all were able to experience some of the epitome, I would say. Some of us younger musicians would only hope to get to that level where you
Yeah.
could get out there on that kind of stage. That is like when you said the Ed Sullivan show,
Yeah.
I
That was
mean,
top of the line.
that it was it.
Yep,
You know what I mean?
yep.
So
That was a crowning adventure. The
yeah,
whole trip.
and the thing is, it's good for us to know historically that we've done that before.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because some people assume that that's too big for us and we can't get
No,
to
man.
that level, and we've been at that level.
We performed on stages that we never thought we would
Yeah.
ever be able
Radio,
to
music hall.
perform on.
Radio City Music
Hall,
Hall.
yeah.
Mm.
Saw the Rockets.
The
and all that stuff.
Rockets.
Yeah, so
You know.
so one of the things I'm hoping through this initiative is that people understand that we need to reinvest.
Yes.
Music is
Yes.
important. I tell a lot of people look at it like just a pastime, and I say some of the most brilliant people are musicians.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
Farrakhan.
That's
Farrakhan speaks about being a calypsonian.
Calypsonian.
A lot
He
of
used to
people
sing-
don't know that.
He used to
Yep,
sing back
yep.
to back, belly to belly.
Yeah.
Yes, well known. I tell people that they don't understand the mathematics in music,
Yeah.
the skill you need to even be able to come up with different beats, rhythms, to come up with lyrics. Not everybody's a good lyricist.
No.
I realized writing music that a lot of people, that some of the biggest stars didn't know how to write lyrics for their songs. So those of us became very valuable that could craft and come up with ideas, be fast on your feet, I would say.
Yeah.
I'm gonna attribute that to my grandmother, Miss Crystal, though I never met her in life. I heard that she could think quick and fast on her feet, and she could answer your tit for tat. Mr. Hansen could tell you got granddaughter just like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so she's here living through her great grands. So I always say that sometimes your DNA
Yeah.
dictate your path, right?
Right.
Even when you mention the music of it, and they used to say I love music. When she
Yeah,
hear
man.
music, she leave her cash pan
Yeah.
and bring food, and she got something on the road. And then the baking and all of that stuff. So
Yeah, she's-
history and culture is
But
important.
your mother also, she
Yes.
was in the culinary arts.
Yep.
Culinary arts.
Yeah, so
Miss Hulda.
Yep. Miss Hulda.
Yeah.
so there's a lot to be had in getting this book.
Yeah.
Repeat the title again and the contact
The
information.
title
where they
is
can
March
purchase
into
it.
Our Own Beat.
Okay.
And all that we talked about just now and much more are in it. So it's really interesting reading,
Yeah.
and I think it's a part of history here that we should not forget. I do feel like a lot of people have forgot about this band because, like I said, it's been over 60 years
Yeah.
now,
Yeah, that's
but we did amazing things, which you will find out after reading the booklet. So I think it's a valuable thing to purchase and keep it on your bookshelf
Yeah.
for future generations to read.
And something for us to be proud of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of times we talk about the most negative things.
Exactly.
And now we have something documented, so we don't have to really rely on word of mouth anymore.
Right.
We have the proof there, the substance of what took place.
And it's
And
come
it's
true.
great to, in my estimation, I think that every school should purchase this book because it's a historic document,
It is.
especially if you're conducting music, band, and
Yeah.
so forth. You need to have something tangible that they can read about.
We're planning on giving the the libraries copies for them to have in the libraries.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, it could be a part of the curriculum as well. We have VI history. Let this be a part of it.
Yes.
This
You
is
know?
via history.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what's great is that those many of you that participated in the band are still around,
Mhm.
and they can talk to you, they could meet you, they could see how music influenced and guided you, gave you discipline.
We,
I tell people all the time, music, you, the structure of music can give you discipline in ways that other things cannot.
they call it subliminal discipline.
So,
If you don't do certain things at the right time, it will sound like hell.
yeah, and I think that in my estimation, music is magical because
I
it
think
helps
so.
you to open up
It
in
is.
such a different way, your mind, how you think, how you address problems. There are many people that may not be a social butterfly and they turn towards music or writing and so forth,
Yes.
and so it can become an outlet as well when we're dealing and thinking about, even in this day and age, we have people committing suicide, young people getting into crime and so forth. These young people, first thing they do and get in trouble is what? When they're in class, they take the pencil and they drum in. Yeah, give them a drumstick, give them an instrument, and invest
Outlet.
that time and see what comes out of it. I tell you, some of the kids that used to be so rambunctious in class, when you put them in music class, oh God, down the road, they
Yes.
come up with all kind of things. And we see bands come out of that, friendship, long-lasting friendships. As we speak about this, I want to also mention a musician that I used to play with that recently we were notified that he has lost his life. He was murdered in St. Thomas a few days ago. Tony, that played trumpet live with me, DeLugo,
trombone.
the trombone.
Yeah.
Brother plays
Tony
trumpet.
DeLugo.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was murdered?
Yes. So it was in a VI consortium about 2 days ago. And Tony used to be a member of Imagination Brass.
He used to play with your band too?
And he played with Outer Limits band, and he played the live instrument on my first album. So we have a history, and he has a brother that lives here now. He's married to Derby's daughter,
Yeah.
right? They own the Coral Sea restaurant now. Uh, Al no longer plays regular calypso.
Trumpet.
He's into his faith now, but that was his younger brother,
Yeah.
I believe. No, I don't know, younger or older, but they're close in age. But so I'm sending condolences to the whole DeLugo family. And he will be well missed. What a character! He kept us on our toes. And I was sad to hear the news, but it's just a reminder that we never know what tomorrow brings. So we appreciate you today, and I have to congratulate you all for bringing this to us. I mean, I heard about the band through Mr. Hansen regularly, but to be able to look back, to see the photos, to see the ticket, to hear the stories, and this little short man that came and impacted your
Yeah.
life in such a
That's
way
revolutionized the,
Yeah.
the whole
Big time.
that it
music industry.
changed the trajectory of your life.
That's
Yes.
definite. Yes.
So many. I sat back as a young Virgin Islander and reflected on so many of your classmates are well known in the community for making impactful change. I mean, even your name is on the bypass right
Yeah.
now.
Correct. Yes.
Every time they turn around and they're looking for this one over here, daddy. And I done put a notice, so this is my father. I used to call my father daddy. This is Mr. Hansen to everybody else. Okay? Looking for him as a former director of utilities and sanitation at Public Works, and trying to find lines. And I said, boy, you know what money you could make if you charge these people for everything they ask him. But the goodness of his heart, give them guidance.
Yes.
I still think he needs to be a consultant, but okay, I'll keep my opinion to myself. But it's just great to see the remnants of Virgin Islanders that continue to change and form and lay the groundwork for those of us, myself and Moni. The children had to remind me, "Ma, you're 41, you're old." I said, "Ah, okay." I said, "Old enough to know good and bad." But it's inspiring.
It
That
is.
that's what I really want to say. It's inspiring, and I would like to see out of this a seed is planted that they bring back the band. Even if it's
But music is
collectively
yeah.
on synchro, there's so much raw talent. I see it now. We have online, Facebook and these things, and people doing the little quirky stuff online. But if they had that support and that camaraderie, when we don't always have to compete with everybody else,
No,
we
yeah,
can
we always
join
different.
together and create a group. And I tell people it's happening on St. Thomas, and they get a good bit of funding to continue that. But I would like to see that investment on St. Croix, because we need the outlet. I remember learning to play steel pan right down there in Kennedy.
Kennedy, I used to come and pick you up.
Yeah, when in the community centers, we had community centers in the housing communities, and we would utilize them to learn music.
Yeah.
So this is just a seed planted, and I want them to pick it up and run with it. And as God above, if I am successful in my run, this is one of the things. I've been very honest. One of the things I want to invest in, because it's my mother used to always tell me it's not only about academia. You need a well-rounded young person, and music was very much an important part of that. And I grew up with a love of music, of course, hearing it in the house all the time.
Mhm.
And my mother pushed me, and she said, "Listen, if you're gonna do this thing, you gotta do it full. You can't do it half stepping."
Yeah, no, do it.
Of course, we had a little back and forth because she said you're going to college, so you make up your mind you're going to. I said I will go to college if you would allow me to do music. So we came to common ground, and she allowed me, and boy, you think Marasco was easy? Imagine Chucky Hansen wake you get up, we going to practice. You think in your head is something perfect. Do it again and again, all day, all night. We travel all over. We went all in Washington. We went VAKs. Oh God, don't talk about that flight. That flamingo flight with one pilot, and I wish I had a prayer. I telling you, but I could just imagine being able to be on that platform that y'all went on, and the feeling, and the gratitude you have for Marasco for even thinking you could take some young individuals from a small island,
Mhm.
get them together and mold them and make them great, and just instill that pride,
Yes.
you know.
Yes.
And I could see it to this day. It carries on. You see, all these years after, you all still can remember and be grateful for it. You know.
We'll never forget him, man. At least
No.
not me.
Yeah.
You know.
So whatever came of him, I know that he left the Virgin Islands.
Well, he left
And,
on another political situation, of course.
Yeah, but he left
Especially
and
now
he
time.
so he
Yeah.
didn't spend out all his
He
days
left
here.
and he went to Florida.
Okay.
He lived in Hollywood, Florida, which is where
Okay.
he died.
Hmm.
You know, but and he continued teaching after he left
Okay.
here. I think it's my understanding he left here in 1967.
Okay.
Yeah,
I can't
and
remember
and
exactly
you know that was like a couple years after we graduated from high school. And yeah, and again, it's my understanding that he primarily left because he was getting a lot of pressure
Hmm.
to move to St. Thomas
Mm.
to work with
You see why we'd be having this beef here? I'm telling you, boy.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
he didn't like that,
That's
Mhm.
what's
you
going
know,
on.
and ended up quitting the job,
Mm.
you know. But yeah, he didn't like
So
being
we lost out.
manipulated the
Yeah.
way they were trying
You
to
tried
to
to
do
go
that.
ahead and lost.
Mm. Well, I'm hoping the next time I invite you guys back, we're gonna hear some community members say, "Let's get together and do something. Let's get a band going." That would be great. Myself included, I'd be excited to um, get into the process of making it happen because I see a lot of talent here.
Yeah, there
You
is.
know,
There is.
and sometimes you just need somebody to tell you, hey, you got something there. Let's work on it.
Yes.
You know. But thank you all so much for sharing.
Okay, well,
Uh,
thank you for having us.
Absolutely. The point person, the phone number, you could leave the number with me and I would repeat it again before I
Okay.
get off.
All right.
But the name of the band, Marching to Our Own Beat.
Is the title of the booklet.
Yes. And anybody y'all would like to mention, thank your class of what?
1965.
1965. Big supporters of the initiative.
And then remember, this is
Um,
a cooperative effort.
Okay,
Dora St.
and
Joseph High
so
School
St.
and
Joseph High School partnered with you all
yes, St. Joseph High School
And Claudio Marco.
Claudio Marco High
and Claro
School.
Marker. Okay,
Yes.
so you guys joined up.
All combined.
Okay, great, awesome. I went to St. Joseph once upon a time for 2 years. And then I beg to go to Central High School because I said I have to be a Caribbean. But that's a whole nother story for another day. But I definitely had, and I continue to have, great friends that went to school with me at St. Joseph High School. And we see each other online from time to time because many of them live in the mainland pursuing. Um, some of them work as lawyers, even in immigration and all of that kind of stuff. So they spread their wings, and but we always keep in contact. But one thing about y'all class, y'all they stay together, boy. Y'all stay and communicate and support each other, and um, we're getting now some of the benefit of that in seeing this book come to fruition. I told my dad already, I'll need to do a volume two, eh? Yes, so
And
Elaine
like I
James.
said before, Mr. Nielsen being modest
Mhm,
because he actually took the lead and ran with it and get all this stuff put together. And
yes.
then he
Yeah,
he
Rodel
gave
Fear
Mr. Rodel
assisted
Fear.
me
Mhm.
in doing it, so we both drafted
The document
the
we see now.
document,
Right.
yes, and published it ourselves as well
Mm,
because we were having a difficult time getting what we wanted here,
okay.
and we just decided to do it on our own.
Hmm. That's commendable.
Yeah.
I know it couldn't have been cheaper.
Yeah.
Elaine James is one of the contact people that you could get the book from because I see you guys asking me the questions on the feed. Her number is 340-277-28. Is that a 4 or a 9? 8.
Is 2848.
Yeah. 277-2848. And also Wenty Nielsen 340-513-0097. One of the things I want to do is encourage those of you. I know y'all are listening from over the world, but I would love for the Centomians to get a copy of the book, and see what took place here on the Big Island, and also be proud of us as Virgin Islanders, and sharing the community. It's a big deal for musicians in St. Thomas. You guys still have community bands and so forth, and I would love to see.
Community band with it?
I'm not sure.
No, I think that's optional.
Well, what they do have band. They got a UVA band and all of that stuff.
No, but it was a government community band. There used to be Peter
Well, we will
Furlong
check.
over
We
here
could check into it.
because I played in that, the one in St. Croix.
So make sure you get a copy of the book. And don't worry if they run out, they could run more copies, okay? So I'd like to thank you all so much for
You're
joining
welcome
me.
indeed.
Thank you very
And
much.
then I'm gonna get in the nitty gritty. So y'all duck and cover. We getting into the politics now, okay?
All right.
All right, y'all enjoy the rest. And we'll definitely make sure that if anyone calls in, we'll share the contact information where you can purchase the book. The book is $30. All right. Y'all be a part of bringing the history home and making sure that we maintain it and document it. And you said that you're going to try to get it in the schools
Yes.
and so forth.
The library.
Yes.
Okay, that's another great thing. And we're losing our libraries now, so that's a
Well,
whole other topic.
Wait, so losing a lot of reading by that.
Well, we're losing our libraries. We're getting into an age where they're shutting down libraries around the nation. Um, and so we have to hold on to what we have. Currently, I think our
Maybe shutting the library down.
yeah, they're closing libraries now
Where
because
that came
everything is
from?
online.
So all the books are now put online.
Well, I guess whatever books they think should be online.
Well, that's the
I
problem.
wasn't aware of that.
That's the problem right there.
Yeah, so um, but we'll make sure that what we could deal with, we could deal with to make sure they get in the schools.
First I
And
heard about that.
I think it needs to be more of a direct um, impact where we say this is part of the curriculum, right?
I agree.
Yeah, via history.
We need to
Okay,
get back to music in these schools also.
absolutely. Oh boy, again, all kind of messages. All right,
Okay.
so thank you all so
Thank you
much.
very much for
Welcome
having us.
indeed.
Yes. All right. I wanted to ask Mr. Hansen some questions, so you hold back on for 1 second. But thank you so much for coming and thanks for your patience, and we'll catch up. All right.
Okay.
Yes. So at this time, and once again, for those of you who want to purchase the book, you can call Elaine James at 340-277-2848 or Winty Nielsen 340-513-0097.
It's really Illinois vintage.
Oh, I'm just reading what he wrote here.
Oh.
Yeah, so back to you. So we are here on keeping in touch with my people, and y'all always asking me, for those of you who have never seen quote unquote daddy, this is him in the flesh. You're seeing him sitting here in the studio representing class of 1965. So
I hope you're taking the right side.
so one of the things I wanted to discuss with you is you have seen many things here in
Many
Sing,
changes here.
well, in the whole Virgin Islands, because you went to CBI in St. Thomas and the whole 9 yards. But I just wanted your perspective of what you see now based on what you saw growing up, as well as far as community investment in community, in education, in camaraderie in the people. How is it reflecting back to a younger you, and how people used to operate and how government used to operate? What's your temperament now?
Well, in the past, to me, the island will go together.
Hmm.
Um, of course, we got east and we got west.
Hmm.
And when I was growing up, we spent more time in West End, and we always spoke of St. Croix
Hmm.
as being one, because, a matter of fact, right here in Gallows Bay, we had the biggest fishing village on the island of St. Croix.
Hmm.
People would come from Frederickstead, from Grove Place, from Low Valley, from Bethlehem,
Hmm.
Glen, all those areas. In the Saturday, it was like Carnival Day in Gallows Bay on Saturdays. To buy
Yeah.
fish, they would clean the fish right there. Some would even cook the fish there,
Hmm.
right down by where Jess, that was the central or the
Yeah,
focal
Gallows
point, so
Bay.
to speak. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is just has not disappeared.
One of the things that I wanted to address was the fishing. For fishermen in general, we
Yeah.
need to give more support. But in addition to that, it needs to be a fisherman market in Christiansted. That is absent.
We had one by the fort, but they knocked that down because of the claim vagrant used to socialize there.
Hmm.
I think they had needed to get the police to deal with that, but instead they knocked the whole damn business down.
So which
And that was a
area
historic.
specifically was that?
If you get on the corner of Queen Street and Hospital Street
Hmm.
and look to the east,
Hmm.
by the Tolang building, that goes on all the way down to the sea.
Mm.
right down to by the sea area. That's where
Mhm.
the fish house used to be.
Okay. So that was right like in the heart of town.
It wasn't hard to town.
We because I mean right now we have a we have a market that they're in the center of the island. I think we're the
Yeah, look,
only
I
place in the
travel.
Caribbean that I've ever seen
I
something like
travel
that.
to Japan, all those places, thanks to Uncle Sam, of course, in the military. And all the fishing areas that I've seen was right next to the sea.
Mm-hmm.
So it's beyond me why we had placed one in the
Center of the
down in
island.
the center of the island
Right.
because you got to get rid of the fish scale, the fish entrails, and all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And
Besides, it's
nobody
not
never
convenient.
thought,
You want fresh fish, right? So even
yes,
traversing into the center of the island, trying to get ice the whole 9 yards,
yes.
and then cleaning the fish and all of that, it's a bother. That's why most people are
I
parked on the side of the road.
but the plant wasn't completed properly because they never installed a disposal system to get rid of all the entrails and all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a sewer line not too far from there, They got these commutators they could buy, and that would grind all the stuff out and then just pump it into the sewer line. That was not done. Up to this day, it's not done. I don't think the fish market proper is functional right now.
Mm-hmm. And for those who are viewing, this is Mr. Esdel Hansen. I know we get a lot of questions because
Oh yeah.
somebody look a little bit like you out there.
No, you said instead had been had Henry Ford named the car as that instead of Edsel, they probably would have sold.
So you ain't running for no public
No,
office,
I
right?
running for nothing. The only thing I running for is my house.
So yes, this is the original, right? So you used to work at Public Works,
Yeah, man, I
you
worked
know,
with
and
public works for 35 and a half years.
wow, okay. And you retired when I was in high school, I believe. Was it high school? Yeah, I think 2000.
I retired in 2000, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, just got into high school. So I remember you being very active. Although you were the supervisor, you were very active at Public Works. I mean, even when
Yeah.
at that time, when Christmas come, they're looking for Mr. Hansen to a
Well, look,
party.
I learned from my father. He said, it ain't what you expect, it is what you inspect.
Yes, and I think
And
that
I
holds
took that
true.
through my life.
I think that holds true to today because
Yeah.
as we see a lot of what's going on, even from a national standpoint, one of the things that is becoming clear is we need stronger oversight.
Yes, exactly.
And when I say oversight, I don't mean from a federal level. I mean that those that have oversight powers locally need to implement their oversight powers. And so,
You
without
just
getting
don't,
too deep into
you just don't
um,
give a directive
and
and
then
then
willy
then you
nilly
like you got
expect
to
it to
follow up
happen, right?
and give some oversight,
Right.
inspect.
And so, given the situation that took place with HUD um, and them putting a freeze on certain things, one of the things that I gathered from that is that although, everybody could, under the sun, could turn to the administration and talk about where they're lacking, there's three co-equal branches of government,
Yeah, that's
you
a
know.
democratic way.
And so I thought that highlighted, and the timing is crazy of when this thing took place, but it highlighted the fact that there are them and those that need to step up to the plate. And I've seen where now this is becoming a blame game. Who ain't come walk, who come walk, this and that.
But one thing around here, I really don't understand it. Why it takes so long to accomplish anything?
Yeah.
I don't know
And
why.
again, it's partially because nobody is holding anybody's feet to the fire.
I,
That's my
I
opinion.
don't know what it is.
Because I remember observing in the legislature that when you got a phone call that this and that wasn't taking place, whether it was a road had been taking too long to be repaired, or a school had an issue, a leaking roof, or whatever, the legislature would call you in
Mhm.
and they would ask you the questions. Hey, how come um, Claro Marco kitchen isn't operating at 100%.
But I mean, in the
But you
earlier
don't wait.
days, that was done through public works, you know.
Right, and this is what
All
I'm
the
getting to.
Oh, okay.
This is what I'm getting to, and this is why I'm happy that you're here today, because you understood back then how it worked in that government aided and supported government. The
Right.
Department of Public Works handled the maintenance.
Maintenance throughout the entire government.
Yeah, and so it blew my mind that they created a whole different agency just to do the maintenance of education
Well, it
when
really
you have
was,
a whole Department of Public Works.
mhm.
And you can attest, as you were working there for
Yeah.
35 years, that
Yeah.
Public Works did a lot of those maintenance, from
All
roads.
the maintenance in government
Yeah,
buildings,
roads, the buildings, the
cemetery,
cemetery,
everything.
and then they created wastewater management. That was a whole other thing.
Uh-huh.
But that,
That's another story.
that is down a rabbit hole. But
Oh, yeah.
long story short, was government supported government. When I transitioned into my role at the Department of Tourism, and any issue came about, my first thing was calling the respective government agency to find out if they were aware of the issue, and then what we would do to collectively address it.
Mhm.
Now, there's a lot of people that think tourism is a one-stop shop, right? And it's because we're proficient in finding out where to get assistance. And oftentimes, tourism steps up and takes on the burden of the bill to fix something more immediate, because we're trying our best to make sure that the Virgin Islands stays in a good light.
Mhm.
So whether it's putting porta potties out when a bathroom broke down, cleaning up a certain area because for some reason the trash wasn't cleaned out, putting up a sign and so forth. And so it became the norm to just call tourism. They'll figure it out, right?
What is happening?
Yeah. So that's where we are now. But for me, when I first got to tourism, because I was familiar with the different government entities, I would just call as Public Works, hey, we need to paint up this area, this thing ain't looking right, whatever the case. They'll come out and they paint.
As with
Uh,
public toilets, we had that were run under my division.
mhm.
There is a bathroom. I know it was fully functioning in the market
Down in
down in
Christiansted,
Christiansted.
vegetable
I know
market.
it's have been locked up for years now. There was another one down in the Wharf area that's under the Park Service right now.
Mhm.
But we had people that used to maintain those areas every day, and I don't know why they shut them down.
Well, first of all, I think one of the issues we have is passing on information. Somebody retires or somebody resigns, and we don't have anything in place to say this is your jurisdiction. A lot of things that I've seen is
But
that somebody would call me to the legislature to ask me which toilet belonged to this, and I said, really, y'all call me in the legislature to ask me who running what toilet? First of all, that's not my area. Secondly, why don't you go back and see, make an assessment, and then put out a call to your
look as
agency
simple
heads?
as picking up the BI code.
Well,
That will tell you.
well, here's the thing.
If you look at Title 19, that tells you everything about public works.
Well, here's the thing. You see how
I
you could
sure-
say that?
I show right now one of the founding father, Benjamin Franklin, he rolling over in his grave right now. Okay, he developed public works.
Well, again, you have to want to read and know, and not just call somebody and hope they know, or just go based on what they say. Because what did you say
That's
earlier?
right.
It's what you inspect,
Yeah,
right?
not what you expect.
So a lot of the shortcomings I'm seeing is because people just go and rely on somebody else, and hopefully their knowledge is accurate, right?
Mhm.
And then you
And
find
that's-
out on the tail end it ain't so it go.
We find out we don't read, that's the problem.
Right.
We always
And
listen
so-
to what somebody else say.
And then you and I saying that, I mean, even the senators cussing and recently saying that their colleagues don't read. So,
Well,
so
they were done.
I mean, for me, you know, being in this political arena, well, I've been in it my entire life,
Yeah, that's right.
by default. But I am in a different space as a candidate, right? Because I'm not a Democratic candidate, and so this in my party right now,
Yeah.
and
Well,
so
you ain't got no party.
I have no party.
You work for
I
everybody.
work for the people, and that is it.
Yeah.
However, when I say this ain't my party, this ain't my mix right now because I have no say in this ball game at the moment. But that doesn't mean I don't see and observe and listen to what's taking place. And it's heating up, but it's heating up in a way where I think we're losing focus on the issues, and it's getting a little personal, right?
Well,
I shouldn't have a little, getting real nitty
well,
gritty.
it should never become personal.
And and this is my thing. I think that everybody need to take a step back and understand how important this time is right now, because these crises that are happening is something we need to collectively address. And if we fight in tit for tat and who do this and that one that this and this
Yeah,
happened
guys.
in this year, and at what you gonna do now? Because
Mm.
as the voter, and I'm a voter, I am your constituent. I want to know, what are you going to do now? I know all of your shortcomings because you guys have been serving, right? I know many of your accolades. I know those things. What I want to know is, in if given this new role for some of you, what is the plan? And I don't want to hear the plan is to do another assessment. If I hear the word analyze and assess one more time, in a time where I think our government spends the most money in doing studies and getting consultants.
And then same
And the
consultant.
same, to tell you the same problem you already know. The lights coming off. When you spend $1 million or something dollars for somebody to come tell you, yeah, you're right, Elizabeth, the light coming off. What?
And another thing, I think people need to recognize that, the politics not there for the party. The
Mhm.
politics is there for the public, for the people.
Mhm.
And why I'm saying that is because I've seen administration in the past. They came to build structures, housing structures down in Princess,
Yeah.
to knock it down. They had pool over by the Kennedy housing facility over there.
Mhm.
That was destroyed. They had a,
They had a
a
public pool by
modern,
Kennedy.
yes.
Okay.
I'm in the politics. I don't want to mention names, but
Mhm.
they had a modern bathhouse in not Gallifrey, in
Lagoon. I
Lagoon.
remember the lagoon
I mean,
structure.
the latest, what you might say, fixtures and stuff that was in that building. And after a certain administration was changed, they left the building wide open. People vandalized the building. Eventually, they
Mhm.
came and they knocked the whole damn thing down.
We went to Kramer's Park the other day, and Kramer's Park
I,
is
I
very
saw that
close to
myself.
us
Hmm.
for a
And
number of reasons. I mean, even as a family, that is a spot that we hold near and dear to our hearts. We camp there and all of that
yeah, but then they
for
vandalized all the
generations.
bathroom and
Yeah,
stuff
but
like that.
besides that, for such a large beach area,
Where
to
the,
have
where the,
one restroom
yeah,
facility,
and where it's located at.
especially when there was more than one, right? Because
Yes,
you had
the bathhouse.
the you actually had the bathhouse, and you had the portion up on the top of the hill
Yeah,
as an additional restroom where they used to have a lot of parties. I went
yeah,
to a lot of parties there as a child. They had reception, people get married, all kind of
right
thing.
there. Yeah.
So I believe we need to bring back the more restrooms to Pyramus Park.
Hmm.
But let me take the calls. I know you have been holding on a while. Greetings, you're on Keeping in Touch.
Well, you, God bless my eyesight.
What's that?
You last week I heard you talk about your dad and the band, and I talk about myself being in the band in St. Thomas,
Uh-huh.
but you didn't say you were bringing them to the station today, he and Alloy.
Sometimes you gotta get a little surprise, man.
Yes, sir. Hey, it's a good surprise. I mean, I'm so glad to see these guys. I haven't seen them in donkey years, as we'd have said.
There's the name.
Yeah, that's Mr.
Yeah.
Nibs. Uh-huh.
I used to have more interaction with Alloy. Wenty, I think was used to call you.
Yeah,
Wendy, right.
Yeah.
He worked in public works at the time. Then I worked in Wappa, out surveying until where we're going to put poles and lines and this type of thing. So I had a lot of interaction with him. But man, it's so nice to see you guys, and we have a lot in common.
It's a mutual feeling, man, hearing you.
A lot in common in the musical field and the engineering field.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. That's so good. You know, and my mind run back with regards to music. I never met Bostic and what is the piano man is, the Italian guy? The Italian
Oh, yeah, Morasco and Bostic.
Morasco. I
He
know
was
the
a
name,
renowned
never
classical
met him.
pianist. Bostic.
Right. Uh-huh.
Because he played throughout Europe professionally.
Yeah, so I heard.
Yeah, and then he came to us, but then he had none to work with, really.
Okay.
And so he
But
left.
yeah, you know, at St. Thomas, we had Uncle Herman Wallace.
Yes, I remember him.
Yeah, Uncle Herman played with bands all over New York, the greater.
Look, when I went to St. Thomas to CVI, I played with the community band over there, and Herman Wallace was in the band also. I played alto sax.
Okay. Yes, and you know, he played the euphonium with the bombardine.
Bombardee, man. He's the boss of that.
He could have made the thing talk, my son.
Oh, boy, I tell you.
Yes, and from 7th grade to 12, I learned under his tutelage.
Uh-huh.
Now, I always wanted to play like a trombone or something with a big mouthpiece, but after testing me and one said, he said, no, the clarinet is for you. And I played B-flat clarinet, I played E-flat alto.
Yeah.
I've never played, I think the D-flat 10, I never played that.
Yeah, the 10 was D-flat.
With the bombardine.
And then the Barry was E-flat also.
Yeah, the Pohaldo Williams sax, what we call it again, the baritone sax.
Yeah, he used to play baritone and also alto.
Yes. I never tried with a baritone fella.
And then Peter Frederick said he also played baritone.
Yeah. One thing I need to ask you guys before I go, because I keep asking others and ask by here, I've asked I'm Victor Torres. Do you guys know Victor Torres in the musical field?
Victor Torres.
Victor. Well, let me give you a little insight. When, for whatever reason, and it was so sad because I think that's one of the things that caused Uncle Herman to go to his grave. When they decide, oh, you ain't no degree, so you can't teach this. After this man put out so much good musician, all of a sudden you find out he's no good. Anyway, the brothers guy, and they said he was a Centomian, but from St. Croix, Victor Torres.
The Victor Torres name sounds very familiar.
It sounds familiar, but I can't place the person.
Yeah, a lot of people ask everybody, and it's no. But I think maybe he was stateside, and most of the time he probably just passed through St. Croix. He wasn't really living there.
I don't know.
But at any rate, he went deeper into the music. We have to, of course, learn to read, even under Uncle Herman, we have to read.
Yeah.
And the thing with Victor, he elevated it to where to graduate. You have to be able to conduct the band and read the way you call the conductor score.
Yeah, you know that includes all the instruments.
Exactly. You got to be able to direct this one, send out that one. You got to know what you're doing.
Exactly.
And that was so good. But as we said it and go there, just like Magellan Savita in St. Croix and Clendinin and St. Thomas is putting some things together for the museum. Sports-wise, I think we need to get together and do something in the musical area.
That sounds good.
Two bands,
I certainly agree with that.
Yeah, the two bands, the St. Croix school band and the St. Thomas school band, major band.
Yeah.
They put out some very good musicians that are all over the world playing music, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll let you run.
Yeah, it's so nice to see you guys again, and we'll stay in touch.
Yeah.
Through Elizabeth.
Yes, 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 not a problem. You have a good one.
Okay,
Okay.
right.
Bye. Yeah, so and he brought something. Yeah, so one of the things, as he called in and mentioned about the music, just to sidetrack for a minute, I believe that this should be an initiative just like the JROTC that we heavily invest in
Oh
to
yeah.
make sure that we give these young people an outlet.
Your mother, she went to all lengths together to
Yeah,
stay here, man.
yeah, because you and I spoke about how the JROTC has saved so much young
Oh yes.
people,
Oh yes.
and they extended it over to the St. Thomas district, and they're thriving as well. And then I'm seeing a story the other day about somebody challenging the payment for the person that is a point person for the JROTC within the territory, which they did before
This is local.
locally, and so they did this before, and so we almost lost the program, and we had to go toe to toe to make sure that the
Yeah.
program was maintained in the Virgin Islands, and here we are now trying the same thing again. And I'm trying to understand what is your purpose for doing something like that. When we are talking about saving young people,
Yeah.
I mean, just yesterday somebody was murdered here in St. Croix. I was out with the girls, and I saw all these officers by Wang Louis Hospital parking lot. By the time I get down there by Sunny Isles, they told me somebody had been shot in the Glen area. And then while we're sitting there, I hear the person pass. And everybody just sad because, again, a young person, and oh, are we at a point where we can't even resolve issues? I don't understand. I mean, I don't know the details of this particular case, but I have seen so much things even going to school where people got physical unnecessarily over
Mhm.
argument, somebody hurt
So, yeah.
feelings. I've had so much classmates pass away. I spoke to a classmate about that just yesterday. I mean, even before we graduated, we had lost classmates, and my children have experienced that as well. At such a young age, getting ready to graduate high school, and classmate gets shot, and walking home and these kind of things. I mean, we're literally going through PTSD every day in the Virgin Islands because it hits home for us. This is a very small community, so every death, every loss,
Yeah.
that little 4 year old, it's back to back to back. You imagine yesterday I lost a family member. I wouldn't give all the details about it, but here we are again, and reflecting back, in my head, for the past 4 to 5 years, our family has been going
Oh
through
yeah, we've been
experiencing loss of very close family members 4 years to 5 years straight, every 2 to 3 months. So, people see me functioning or think I'm functioning normally. But if I going through that, I could just imagine, people that have to bury their children, people that are dealing with. In addition to that, we in the middle of a conflict. We have real Virgin Islanders being deployed,
Mhm.
and in the midst of that, birthright citizenship is now a question.
Yeah.
And here you are again. You are a Vietnam combat vet.
Mhm.
Live long enough to see. Um, a lot of people weren't appreciative of your sacrifice when you went. It was a very
No,
big
there was,
political football and a lot of
Yeah, there was-
controversy.
Yeah, there were a lot of demonstrations and stuff like that when I came back.
Yeah, and then on top of that, to be a veteran now and not be able to go into a veterans hospital
Mhm.
here in the Virgin Islands after you served,
Yeah, you gotta go.
having to incur the expense of traveling to to see about your well-being, because not because you're a veteran means you automatically go to a veteran
No,
hospital
for sure.
either. Because given a emergency, you just want to get to some place to get help. The mental state of many of the people that came back, um, in addition to those who are in our community dealing with imbalances and can't get certain resources,
Mhm.
you know, these are real life
Real quagmire, man.
issues going on. And so, and my concern is that this HUD situation may just be the tip of the iceberg. And we're hoping that we can utilize this as a caution to get our house in order before anything else goes awry. We've seen all the fallout. Let me not say all because we don't know, but we've seen some of the fallout of some of the decisions made by certain individuals. And like I tell people already, I'm not a proponent of um, celebrating anybody's downfall, because it's a downfall for all of us.
Yeah.
If you are running a government agency and something happens to you that negatively affects the agency, it negatively affects all of us
All
as
of us,
Virgin
right.
Islanders. So anybody that's out there applauding and giving energy to this in a way that is disingenuous, I shame on you. And I keep telling y'all that people pay attention to everything we say and everything we do. And while we might think we should back and forth and cuss and carry on with each other, be cognizant that when you start posting stuff on social media, the world is watching. Okay?
Yeah.
We are seeing in real time the repercussions of certain things. And while it might be a little plug for us, we got to really be sensitive to what we say. Why nobody remembers the US Virgin Islands until you look into to implement um, restricting birthright citizenship. That's when y'all remember our territories that have fought and died for you. That's when we become front street.
We look at the Haitians.
Well,
The Haitians fought along with George Washington during the Revolutionary War, you know.
we have been sacrificing for ages.
Yeah, and then look how they're treating them today.
People say that we don't have anything to do with Juneteenth, and so that's a holiday for the Americans. And it's
No,
ignorance because we don't educate ourselves in
I
certain
agree.
aspects of
I
history.
certainly agree.
Those of us who have been in the Caribbean, because you have to think about the triangular trade didn't only stop in the Caribbean. They went on the mainland United States and they took people from the Caribbean with them.
Yes.
Okay? That's why you could go now. If you go to South Carolina, they literally have an entity over there that traces people back to the Virgin Islands. So I need to do your research before you just come with this blanket statement that you have to do with us.
Mississippi,
We
Georgia,
were there
and Louisiana.
before the occurrence of that event that created the holiday that we celebrate now as Juneteenth. So don't let anybody make you feel based on not doing the research that was not the case. In addition to that, and this is why I say people really need to, you see the phrase about reading coming up often now, and it's sad because it's coming up because of people doing jobs for re-election. So now they're turning on each other. Oh, you're eating your young now, right? But everybody's complicit in the foolishness, in my opinion, and I'll tell you why. If you all collectively have the power of oversight, whether you are in charge of that particular committee or not, it does not stop you from speaking on an issue of a committee that you are not in charge of. That's number one. Some of you get on your high horse and you talk about you was the one that tell them this person was not the right person for the job. But then when they came in front of you, you approved them, right? And then you said they got to do better in vetting, but you were the one who were vetting. They. How are you sitting in the legislature talking about they when it's you? You don't get to just take the accolades when things go great. You also have to take the responsibility when you have shortfalls. And I don't know when we got to the age of you not being able to say when something going wrong. And you see where this cause? Everybody have to act like they don't see the problem until the problem slap you all across your head, your back of your head, your face, and your front, your mother, your father get it slapped too. That's when you're gonna stop and say, wow, right? But had you been doing what you said you were going to do, a lot of these things would not be happening because hindsight is 2020. And truth be told, because I am friends with said person, that doesn't mean I know what you're doing in your private time in your bedroom and when you're in there in front of me. That's number one. So I can't speak to everything you do. I might say, based on my interaction with this person, they seem to have an up and up character. But that don't mean because me and you go down and pull you up. So you seen the thing going left. The house on fire and you there inside, you sitting down. All the children there in there, you watching TV, you see you smell the smoke. The house is on fire, you getting hot. And you didn't get up to say, let me see where this heat coming from. You ain't looking around. The children coughing, you still good because you show the hand. And then when the authorities come and kick down your front door and tell you, hey, you gotta come out. This place burning down. Man is Tammy fault because Tammy was the one that was supposed to be watching this thing. And I tell them I was gonna watch a TV while they watching the house. And so yes, it get hot and we coughing, but that wasn't my responsibility. How not? It ain't your responsibility. And it's them and them and them and they don't call meetings. That's a new one. So you sit down in the legislature and your colleagues didn't call any meeting to address any of your concerns and you didn't let us know. You didn't call out your colleague. You didn't say such and such individual hasn't called a meeting for the past 6 months. And then you want us to get mad with that person instead of you because my hands free, that my thing, and that they didn't do what they were supposed to do, but you sit down complicit and didn't say anything or bring any awareness to it. And now, after Captain, the ship is sinking, you want us to say you had nothing to do with it. You know, the role is not just doing the you know, writing the laws, which again, that's a whole nother rabbit hole we could go down because we're not getting the revenues that we need to get. We're talking about somebody called here 2 weeks ago, spoke about how property tax had increased. She didn't know why. They said they're paying for sewage now, which they're doing through property taxes that she didn't have to pay before. She's trying to figure out why her fee is over $100 more than it used to be, and she just doesn't have that extra income to cover that cost. Um, what we're doing that's tangible to make people comfortable because you're taxing over and over the same people, back, front, left, right. Where is the relief? We're looking at, okay, we got money to try to revitalize the place. It didn't happen. What's the plan of recourse? What's the plan of action now? You know, I put up a post on my Facebook when I heard of the legislature saying that they were going to give the entity 5 days to respond back to them or come in front of them. They have to come in front of them in 5 days and let them know what the issues are and how they plan to address it. 5 days you gonna waste when you as a legislature could have called a caucus, gotten together with your colleagues, and at bare minimum write a letter to the entity acknowledging the shortfalls, the notification that this is taking place in your jurisdiction, and your plan of action. And a plan of action ain't gonna take you 5 days because they already detailed to you what the issues were, their concerns, the areas that were highlighted, and what they needed for you to fix and address. Legislature has so much power. that they wield. And it's often shifted to the responsibility of the executive branch, and I'm trying to figure out why. Why, after they done write it out for you in black and white, and I'm not saying you don't need to meet with the entity, but you could have immediately taken certain steps. That's my opinion. That I only saying what I would have done. When I see a crisis mean immediate reaction, and it should not get to this. However, at this point, we passed that already. We're here now. Everybody and the grandmother know. They got videos about us all on YouTube and the national news, so you can see it. They even have people analyzing and breaking it down and where we went, the whole 9 yards. So I think that you have enough information to have addressed certain concerns already. And here is this. In addition to that, what you, and I don't say what I would have done is I would have, um, and this is why you have a good relationship with the different agencies, because you should have called, been able to call on the phone. Listen, I heard such and such took place. Can you give me a summary of where you guys are at? What's taking place? And since these people were notified before this last letter, I need to know what your recourse is. Is anybody going to be moved, shifted around? Is the responsibility going to be shifted to somebody else? Are we going to now readdress processing of these things? Do we need support? Greetings, John. Keeping in touch.
Elizabeth,
Hey,
bueno. Let me say this out. Pa' arriba, pa' abajo, esto es una historia. Nos vamos con Elizabeth a la legislatura. Pa' arriba, pa' abajo. Elizabeth, I see you got big star in your studio, man. Good morning.
Yes,
morning, good morning.
yes. Live and chat. Well, they used to say he's the myth because they always hear about it, but they didn't get to see face. So I said living in color.
I hear you talking about my uncle-in-law. I said, man, I gotta call him because
Oh, yeah?
a lot of people are talking about my uncle-in-law, my wife.
Yeah, who's that?
And how
Who's
he
that?
used to make the organ sing in the St. John's Church, And
What's the name?
Mr. Bastic.
Oh, yeah, man,
Oh,
Steve
okay.
Barsick, man.
Okay.
Steve.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I hear your father talking about him.
Yes. Okay.
And how he used to make the organ sing. And I never get to meet him, but I have when I think about his brother, my father-in-law, I can appreciate him, and when others talk about him, I can appreciate him more. That they know him, they knew him well,
Yeah.
Okay.
So I know the same way I love his sisters, them. I know would have been the same love I would have for Uncle Steve, So
Yeah.
I could appreciate especially his musical talent. When I look at my son, my son started playing the trombone. Now, Elizabeth, my son plays every instrument on the earth.
Really?
Yeah, and he started with the trombone.
Okay.
But it's just the music teachers that were around here. Kevry Hendricks, Rika Bryson, Mario Thomas. I mean, and then he went into the steel pan with his brother, the last name Pata. I can't remember his first name. But these people, brought in Khalid, talent. And I always brag that he gets some of it from me.
Well, you have to get him genetics before you get anything else.
Yeah, but then again, thinking about his great uncle Steve and the musical genius that he was, and just
that DNA, man.
Yeah, it was just all around to hear that talk about it, and then
you have to try to get a copy of the book, man, and you could read all into it.
And I definitely will, but then thinking about you and your new path, sometimes the devil devil will send people in your way to get you off track, but you don't get off track. You just stay focused. And
Well, I am focused because the end all be all is the people of the Virgin Islands. And I think the thing that for me that kind of gets under my skin a little bit is that I think that we can all acknowledge, whether we want to or not, that we're in crisis mode here. And this is the end all be all moment. And we don't have time for the pettiness and the, you know, who said this and who. Listen, at this point, the people should be the focus. And that's where I'm at. And I want everybody to get back to that.
but you know what's important, and you touched on it earlier, and I heard you refer to a senator referring to it earlier. You know, when you start to go to school, you know, from K to third, you learn to read. And then from third on, you read to succeed, you know, and sometimes that's where people falter. You know, they don't like to read, you know, and that's what we find. But no, you know, you know, sometimes we need to, you know, take the time, Elizabeth, it takes some time. It takes a lot of your time, but if you want to really be above par, read. I think a senator's job is to read. Sometimes it takes a lot of reading to find resources. You have to read with.
You could imagine going to a hospital to have a surgery and you also don't want to read. Oh my God, just give him a nurse give him medication, don't want to read your chart. Like, it is that serious because you are making decisions that's going to affect us. You know, in the long run, in the immediate timing, our children, our generations after, and you don't want to read?
Yeah, well, I just read something from your dad recently. He was an engineer that worked with public works, and your dad was commending him for a lot of the knowledge that he brought. I don't want to call the person name particularly, but your dad was commending him for a lot of the knowledge that he worked. I think your dad was his supervisor, and it was important, you know, for your dad to have confidence in that individual. But it shows that, you know, competency is important in a lot of the things we have, and we go along to get along because of friendship, and you know. But sometimes, you know, a lot of people, that's where they fall is because they don't want to breast themselves of the information that's out there. You know, right now.
Well, I'm gonna have to let you wrap right there because I'm over my time.
All right, thank you for the time.
Yes, but call in earlier next week, man.
For sure, good to see you, Daddy. But God bless you, and again, for sure.
I'm blessing to you too. All right, thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you so much. This has been keeping in touch with my people here on WSTX AM 970. Until next week, I want y'all to be better than you were before. Do something great for somebody. And remember, this is all our community. Make it great. We're here next week, Saturday, 10 to 12, as usual, with God's grace. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye.
Greetings. I am Elizabeth Hansen Watley. A senator not only controls the purse strings of the government, but advocates on your behalf when you need answers. Schools shuttered, unaffordable.